So here's an interesting piece of Transformers lost media that has finally come bubbling to the surface after more than 16 years. Back in 2004, Atari and Melbourne Studio put together a Transformers game based off of the Transformers Armada property. It was for the PlayStation 2 and it was called The Transformers. We call it the Transformers Armada game today, pretty much to avoid confusion. Its working name was Transformers Prelude to Energon. Like, there was all kinds of names, but ultimately in the end, for the simplicity of the times back in 2004 in a pre-Michael Bay movie era, it was just called The Transformers, and it was based on the Armada characters, its story, the ongoing stuff, and everything of that. It was probably, in my opinion, one of the first truly, really good Transformer games. Up to that point, a lot of games were, serviceable. They were fun. The Beast Wars Metals game, which was a simple fighter, wasn't anything too deep, but it was fun. Same thing with the Game Boy game. There wasn't anything too complex with Transformers. It ranged from absolutely terrible games to serviceable at best. And this was the first time we got something that almost felt even AAA at the time in a lot of ways. And that game found mediocre success primarily because it wasn't Generation 1 and people still weren't, on the Transformer bandwagon. Again, 2007 was just a couple of years away. But Atari put out this game, and it was pretty good. I liked it. Bought it on day one. They did a director's cut edition in 2005, which was exclusive to the UK, which pretty much the only difference between the two is it comes with an extra DVD that has behind-the-scenes stuff, so don't go crazy freaking out over picking that one up for the PAL region. But either way, that being said, there was plans to do a port of this game to the PSP, the PlayStation Portable, around that time in 2005, 2006. And ultimately, in the end, the PSP just didn't have the power to do something like that. PSP at best could do higher end PlayStation 1 games, and that's about it. So the plan was instead to do a proof of concept and show a demo of using the assets from the Transformers Armada PS2 game to try to create maybe some kind of choose-your-own-adventure real-time strategy game with turn-based, combat and stuff, with a little bit of visual novel aspect to it. And this proof of concept was made into a demo, submitted to Atari through Melbourne, and ultimately in the end, it just didn't happen. There was a lot of different reasons. Some of them were working on a potential Cybertron game at the time, but ultimately what really happened in the end was that Activision had sold the Transformers license, Atari had sold the Transformers license to Activision, who would then start developing the Transformer movie games, which we all know and love today, the Transformer movie games, and Activision would later go on to do the War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron stuff. So I think it worked out in the end. But this is very interesting. Now we have one of the developers from Melbourne. They pretty much posted a video on private on YouTube of the proof of concept and the demo. While it is a file that could be played, that's an executable that can be played on a PlayStation emulator, a PSP emulator. And it's a short little proof of concept, not a full game. It gives you a general idea of what this would have been, and far from what the final product would have been. Again, using the Armada game assets, the FMVs, the clips, the sound effects, the art assets. So very interesting. Very, very interesting to see something that just we didn't really know even got that far and existed from 16 years ago. And now we get to see that something like this exists. The developer said that unfortunately he can't publicly release the executable file, so we can't play this little demo, but luckily they did do a little clip showing what could have been, and it's fascinating. It's interesting. You pretty much you walk along a predetermined path, you make a decision of which path you're going to choose in a visual novel kind of aspect. There's some dialogue between characters, and then a random encounter battle happens. You choose between attack and which melee attack using your minicon, special move, transforming, turn-based strategy pretty much. And then the character levels up and you move forward on and on. It's very interesting. There was other characters you could choose that could join your party, like Hotshot and Red Alert. No surprise, characters from the actual PlayStation 2 game itself. So very cool stuff. I'm surprised that after all these years, something like this bubbles to the surface. And hopefully hopefully maybe one day that developer will be willing to release these files and then everyone could enjoy them despite the limited proof of concept nature of them. There probably still some NDA related stuff to it in the coding. Who knows? But very cool stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link both in the description and in the pinned comment the link to this this proof of concept and the demo itself, just the video footage, because unfortunately the individual didn't publicly post this clip. So it is available. It's on the news websites, but I guess they don't want it to be found on YouTube through search algorithms. I don't know. So I have the link directly here. You could click on it, check it out. It's a good, like, I want to say 12-minute clip, really showing a good chunk of everything, and it's quite fascinating what could have been in the Transformer world. And of course, we all know ultimately what happened in the end. I mean, in that like 2005, 2006 era, they were going to work on a Cybertron game. That didn't happen. And then we have movie stuff, and the whole world went in a different direction with Transformer games and the movie stuff. For better or for worse, that's your opinion. But pretty cool stuff. Let me know what you think, guys. I'm pretty hyped that just to see this, because I've done panels in the past talking about the history of Transformer video games, and I pretty much covered everything from 1984 up until 2009-ish, 2010. And I left that one out because I didn't even know it existed. And well, this is pretty cool stuff. Time to update my panel if I ever do it again. But pretty awesome stuff. Let me know what you think. And what was your favorite Transformers game? Mine? Oof, that's a tough one. I'm not going to count the War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron stuff, because that one's just aces. That's just probably the best we'll ever get. So I'll lean on more the Transformers DS Autobot Decepticon movie game. Those are sleeper hits, amazing ones. So let me know what you think.